Hi, I'm Jennifer Bourne of jenniferbourne.com, and today we are talking about 5 ways to simplify your website design so you can increase website conversions. The silent saboteur of website conversion rates is bad website design. Today, we're talking about those 5 ways that you can simplify design and increase rates. Your website is the central hub for your brand online. It's the primary vehicle for interaction with your audience and the destination where conversions are taking place. No matter what kind of conversion you're seeking, sign up, subscribe, click, register, enroll, buy, hire, watch, whatever it might be, the website design needs to support the sales process and make the content easy to engage with. And then the design needs to naturally guide visitors through the website, ultimately to take action. Now, like I said, there are 5 primary opportunities to simplify your web design and keep the focus on conversions. The first thing that you can do is to streamline your navigation, right? Reduce clicks, shorten the sales process, clear the path for higher website conversion rates, all by simplifying your website navigation. For the primary navigation menu, consider including only the pages that are part of your client buying journey, those that answer the questions and provide the information in the awareness, consideration, and decision stages. For sales pages and landing pages or opt-in pages, consider removing all navigation to keep visitors on the page and focused on taking action. When crafting your navigation menu, one that reflects a typical customer buyer journey, it's inevitable that you are going to have pages cut from your primary menu. Your primary menu isn't meant to give visitors access to everything that exists on your website. It's meant to guide them through the buying process and help them naturally and organically reach a decision to take action. So your action tip here is to review your own website's navigation. Are there pages in your navigation that are more important to you than your audience? Are there pages included that aren't part of your core sales funnel? If so, consider moving them and moving them down to the footer of your website. Now, the second thing you can do to simplify your website design is to remove distractions. The worst thing that can happen on your website when a visitor is close to buying a product or signing up for your email list or hiring you is that they get distracted and they leave the site, abandoning their cart, forgetting to make that purchase, or never filling out your project inquiry form. Unfortunately, this happens all too much because most websites have tons of distracting clutter. Sidebars are full of affiliate promotions, ads, and they include so many call to actions they reek of desperation. Social media icons and social sharing links are placed at the top of blog posts, at the bottom of blog posts, they're floating on the side, they're in a sidebar, they're in the footer. It is overwhelming. And competing calls to action show up on the same pages. Vanity content that's important to the site owner but not important to the visitor also dilutes the message of the website. What you need to remember is that every social media icon, badge, or button, every link, every affiliate ad, every option that you're stuffing into your website provides visitors with an opportunity for them to leave, get distracted, and forget that they were ever on your website. So you need to assess how much distraction is happening on your website and reduce it. Think about, do you really need a sidebar? Is the content in your sidebar adding value to your visitors and helping them get the information that they need faster and easier? Are you overdoing it with your social media icons? The third thing that you can do to simplify your website design and help improve your conversion rates is using relevant imagery. While custom photography is always the best choice, sometimes budgets don't allow for that. Sometimes budgets only allow for stock photography or even free photography from sites like Unsplash. But here's the thing, if you're not careful, tacky, cheesy, generic stock photos can create the wrong idea about your brand or about your client's website. Using stock imagery is a great option if you do it right? So stick to images that are relevant to your message And avoid ones that are obnoxious, too happy, overly posed, that are super obvious. And instead, look for images that are more conceptual, right? When picking images for your website, don't just think about one image on a single page. You want to think about the website as a whole and the imagery that you're using across the site as a collection. If you pulled every image off your website and put it all together in a collection, would they all look like they came from the same website? Do they all have a similar feel? Is the look consistent, right? The other thing you want to think about is you want to naturally guide visitors' attention to specific places on the page. And you can do that with a visual cue from an image. If you have an opt-in or a call to action, the direction of that image should be pointing at that opt-in or that call to action. This is called gaze focusing. For example, I just said your image could point, maybe the face is pointing at an opt-in. If you are a veteran, let's say you're a veterinary site or a dog groomer, and you've got photos of animals on your site and you've got a call to action to book an appointment. Have those animals looking at that call to action. Have the main focal point in that direction. Help naturally guide your visitors' attention to the things that are most important on your site. And when you're featuring facts, figures, studies, statistics, technical information, consider doing so visually and not just in text. Use charts, graphs, infographics, or screenshots to communicate that data. Make it easier for people to understand. So your note to take action here is to review the images on your website, right? Evaluate their relevance to your message, your content, and your goals, and whether they form a cohesive collection of images that represent your brand. Also, look at, are there enough images? Do they have a consistent style? Are they guiding visitors to take action, or are they distracting them? The fourth thing that you can do to simplify your design is to focus on one call to action per page. Each page or post on your website should have a call to action, but it should have one call to action, not a whole bunch or not competing calls to action. If you confuse and overwhelm your prospective buyer with multiple calls to action on the same page, they may end up taking no action at all. Likewise, don't make them choose, especially when it's between something free and something paid, right? Because they're almost always going to go with the free thing, not the paid thing. If you do happen to include a secondary call to action, like on a blog post, be sure that the design honors the hierarchy of the page. So instead of a big splashy offer for that secondary call to action, it should be a little more low-key, like a text link. So your action item here is to evaluate the calls to action on your website. Do you have multiple competing offers on the same page? Do you have an opt-in in the sidebar and in the content that are competing? Make adjustments needed to ensure you have one primary call to action on every page. Now, the last thing we're going to cover today that you can do to simplify your site and boost conversions is dealing with your color palette. It's using one action color. You have to be careful not to get too crazy with color on your website. While some brands can pull off a whole rainbow of colors, for most websites, too much color is more of a distraction than a benefit. So stick to one or two primary colors for your whole website and one action color. There should be high contrast between the primary site colors and the action color, so it stands out and it's easily recognizable. The action color is only used for items like links, buttons, and special offers, especially critical conversion buttons like your add to cart or your checkout buttons, right? By only using the action color for links and buttons and special offers, you're training visitors to recognize that that color means they should do something. They should click that link, they should click that button, they should sign up, they should register, they should buy, whatever it might be. You're giving them a visual cue to grab that mouse or use that finger and make that click. So your action item is to look at the calls to action on your website, Look at the links on your website. Look at anything on your website where someone needs to take action. Are all the action items the same color? Does that color stand out in high contrast with the rest of your website? And if you don't have a dedicated action color, consider updating your website to use one. If you can do these 5 things and simplify your site, you're going to see visitors be more concentrated and more focused on the content that is the most important, and you'll naturally guide them to those points of conversion much easier. Now that's it for today. Again, I'm Jennifer Bourne with jenniferbourne.com. Thanks for being here. You can find more details about the tips I've shared today in my blog post, and by subscribing, you'll be the first to know when new videos and new posts are published. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.